Hey guys, it's Carl Allen. It is day 76 of 75 Hard, and there actually isn't 76 days. I finished 75 Hard yesterday, so it's actually Thursday, so you're going to get this video on Friday. So I'm going to chat for a little bit, and then what I'm also going to do is I'm going to cut in my my tracking sheet. I'm going to show you all my results and some before and after pictures as well, so you guys can see the absolutely phenomenal results that I've had through 75 Hard. And if you're friends with me on Facebook, you might have seen my post this morning, and I can't tell you guys how absolutely incredible and unshakable I actually feel today. Yesterday, day 75 was actually the hardest day, which was crazy. It was the hardest day, I think, because I knew it was coming to an end. Like all my energy just completely drained out of my body yesterday. I got both my workouts in pre-lunchtime. I had to go into the office, and I'm closing a really cool deal at the moment, so I had a whole bunch of stuff to do for the financier with his due diligence, so was getting all that tied off. And then literally it got to about 2 o'clock and I was just completely and utterly drained. I had literally no energy left in my body. So I literally went home. My office is 300-400 yards from my house. I went home and I actually went to bed for a couple of hours just to kind of catch up on my sleep and my energy. But I'm a completely different person coming out of 75 Hard than I was when I went in. And what's interesting is everybody thinks it's a physical challenge. And yeah, you know, my results are insane. I've dropped 31 pounds in weight. I've lost 5% body fat. I look and feel just insane. I've not had any alcohol for 76 days now. My skin is just insane. I've got rid of all that poison in my body. I just feel amazing. But the real benefits to this are the mental benefits. And I didn't really understand this at the time. When I first started doing this, you know, I thought, well, yeah, I'm going to get physically fitter and I'll feel better and all that different stuff. But what's happened to me over the past 75 days is I've developed some really, really awesome skills that have been layered so deep inside of me that I think these skills are going to stay with me forever. Those skills are grit, fortitude, like determination, resilience, and an absolutely unshakable commitment to executing on things that matter to me and getting those jobs done, getting that work done and nailed and dialed in, no matter what the environment, no matter what the conditions. And what's amazing about 75 Hard is a lot of the times you have to work outside every day for 75 consecutive days. You have to do a 45-minute workout. And I'll never forget, about halfway through the journey, I did a ruck walk. So I've recently moved offices, but about a month ago, I was in my old office, which is about a 4-mile walk from my house in England. So my wife would take me to work. I would work the day in the office. And then around 6 o'clock when I'm done, I would put on my ruck vest, which is a 35-pound kind of armored vest, and I would walk all the way home, those 4 miles. So that used to take me about an hour. I'd burn about 800 calories. Absolutely phenomenal workout that I did, and I've done that tons and tons of times. But on this one particular day, it was around 5:45 in the evening, and I was just wrapping up my work. It was a Thursday. I'd just come off the academy call, which ends at 5:30 UK time. I was just wrapping up on some Slacks and some emails and just getting my stuff set for the Friday. And my wife calls me and she's like, hi, I'm coming to get you now. I'm going to come and collect you. I'm like, no, you're not. I'm walking home. She's like, you're not. Have you seen the weather? We're having a storm. It's one of the worst storms we've had like in the last 10 years. You cannot walk in that weather. I'm like, honey, you don't get it. You don't get it. I am walking home through this weather. I have to do an outside workout. You know, I'm not going to die. Yep, is it going to be inconvenient? Yep, is it going to be painful? Yeah, is it going to be really, really tough? Yeah, am I going to get cold? Am I going to get soaking wet? Is it going to be miserable? Yeah, but you know something? The job still needs to be done. So I said, I'm walking home, don't worry about it. So I went outside and it's lashing it down. It's like absolutely crazy weather. So I literally puts on my ruck vest, gets my headphones on. I was wearing shorts, which was crazy. I was wearing my sneakers. I had a sweat vest on, my ruck vest on top, and then my waterproof jacket on top. And I powered home and I did that 4-mile walk. And there's one big hill in between my office and my house, and I'm walking up this hill, and literally the wind is blowing down the hill and the rain's almost horizontal, and I'm pushing up that hill like as hard as I could, just because otherwise I'd have got blown back down. And you know what? That hour that I did that walk was my favorite part of 75 Hard, because I thought to myself, if I can do this, if I can gut this out and get the job done in some of the worst conditions that I'm ever going to see, then think how that's going to manifest itself. Think how that's going to show up throughout the rest of this challenge and throughout the rest of my life. And it's amazing. And there's things like that happen to you in business, especially when you're doing deals. You know, you'll go through parts of the deal journey where you'll be presented with a really challenging thing. It could be you're meeting with a seller for the first time and they might be a little bit hostile. You're talking to financiers and you just can't quite get enough of the capital that you need to make the closing payments. You've got to pivot and look at other things. And quite often in life, people quit when they get to those difficult challenges. They think, you know what, maybe this isn't meant to be. Such a body told me so. Such a body said this was going to be hard. You weren't going to be able to do this. And it's absolute bullshit, my friends. You push through, you power through those really difficult challenges, and the emotional boost, the confidence that will give you, the kind of toughness, that grit, that fortitude, that resilience, that determination, that unshakable spirit that will build, and you do that over and over and over and over again in your life, that's going to put you at a completely different level, my friends. So often times get tough, you've got to gut it through, and that is what makes us as human beings, that is what makes us grow. So just wanted to share that with you. And let's cut into the slides now, and we'll see the slides. So this is it, guys. This is me on the left. This is a couple of days actually before I started 75 Hard. If you subscribe to our Dealmaker Wealth Society YouTube channel, you will have seen this video go out where I was talking about my morning routines. I'm wearing my Cobra Kai t-shirt, which is an XL. It's like putting a duvet on myself right now. It's absolutely huge. So yeah, I was a pretty big guy, and you know, I didn't realize it at the time. I knew I was overweight. I'd been drinking through lockdown in the UK and all these different things. It's really astonishing when you look back to see, you know, how big I was compared to, you know, the new guy, the guy that's come out of this on the right. So this was me on the morning of day 75. I had, you know, gone through a big physical transformation, particularly in my upper body. Obviously, I built muscle in every kind of area, especially my legs, my arms, and my shoulders. But it was the kind of fat that I'd managed to get rid around my body. And one of the things I did during my 75 Hard is I did a lot of ruck walking. So I walked a lot. You'll see my results in a minute. I actually walked 252 miles with my dogs wearing a 40-pound ruck vest. And that used to really hurt me. It used to really hurt my upper body. But every day, every step, it was actually shredding the fat that was surrounding my body. So let me just go through some of the results and I'll show you my tracking sheet. So I lost 31 pounds in total. My goal was 32 pounds, so I didn't quite make the full loss. I've actually lost way too much weight between you and I, so I'm going to be bulking up. I don't want to put on any more body fat. You know, I've dropped 5% body fat, but you know, I want to put at least 7 or 8 pounds back on in pure muscle. But I've lost 31 pounds through the challenge, which I'm thrilled with. That's 14 kgs. During my 150 workouts, as you know, you've got to do 2 workouts a day. So 150 workouts in 75 days. You'll see from my tracking sheet, I burned 85,150 calories. So that's an average of 1,135 calories per day. I was drinking a gallon of water plus every single day. So that's 75 gallons and more. And my diet, I consumed an average of 1,405 calories per day. So some days I didn't consume that much. And obviously on some days I was burning way more than 1,135 calories. So just to give you an example, for me to do a ruck walk, say in the morning, that burns typically about 800 calories. I would ruck walk for just over an hour. And then if I went out on my bike in the afternoon and I cycled 20 miles, then, that 20 miles would burn probably 1,500 calories. So some days I was burning over 2,000 calories, but probably eating, way less. So on some days I was actually not consuming any net calories at all. The requirement of 75 hard is to read 10 pages a day. Obviously, as you know, I read like a ninja, so I averaged a lot more than that. I averaged 48 pages per day. Some days I would only get the 10 in. Other days, like on a weekend, I'd read 100, 150 pages. I read 13 different books, so I read a total of 3,618 pages. And it was really interesting. I was talking to my personal trainer on the last day because I was doing a gym session. And he went back through all of my logs of all of the activities that I've done. Every machine in my gym, even free weights, they're all tracked. I actually lifted more than 1 million kilograms of weights in the gym. I went to the gym 72 times in 75 days. I actually did more than 150 workouts. Some days I went 3 times, which is amazing. And, 2 747 aeroplanes don't weigh 1 million kilograms. They weigh about 950,000 kilograms. So if you can imagine, across 75 days, I've lifted the equivalent of 2 Boeing 747s, one on each arm. As I mentioned before, I rucked walked 252 miles with a 40-pound ruck vest. But I did a whole bunch of other different things as well. Ruck walking and going to the gym were my 2 main sources of workout. But I also cycled, I swam, I jogged, and I also did some yoga as well to deal with a back injury that I suffered about halfway through. But the biggest challenge that I had, as you know, is I completely trashed my knee on day 62. I tore my cartilage. I've completely severed the meniscus, actually. I'm having some exploratory procedures at the moment on a clinical trial that won't have them open up my knee, hopefully. In a bad way. I'm having injections in my knee to kind of fuse the flapping cartilage back together. So the last kind of 13 days, were pretty tough because I was doing this with a completely busted knee and I was never going to quit. So those are my results. Now let me take you over to my tracking sheet. So as you know, I'm a tracking guy and I love data. So I had the 75 Hard app, which I would be filling in every day. I had my MyFitnessPal app where I was logging all the things that I was eating. But what I wanted to do was stick everything in a really cool Google Sheet. And I'd filled this in every day. So all the days are listed, the date, confirmation that I drunk my 4 liters of water, which is a gallon. Then I recorded what my workouts were. So as you can see, loads of rucking. I started off at 30 pounds, but I built up. I didn't change the cell, but I built up from 30 to 35 to 40. Did all that stuff. I've got all the different, my diet check, all the pages that I read each day. I'm listed all the books that I've actually read, some absolutely phenomenal books. I've reviewed some of these for you, as you know. Doing my progress photo, I logged every single calorie that I was putting into my body, all the calories that I was burning through my actual workouts, what my net calories were. So some days I would have 1,062 net calories. That's great. Some days negative, minus 195, minus 297. And the final day, just because I wanted to do this, it wasn't a requirement, but I decided to do it. The final day, day 75, I did a water fast. So I didn't consume any calories whatsoever. I fasted for 36 hours and just drank water. I wanted to try and get down to the 12 stone 1 kind of initial target. I didn't quite make it. I just got down to 12 stone 3. Still a phenomenal result for me. Ideally, I want to be around 12-10. That's going to be my fighting weight. But yeah, guys, these are all my results, and by tracking all this, I found it really, really useful. And you should do stuff like this when you're deal making. So you should be tracking your leads, your deals, conversations with brokers, conversations with a network that you're building, offers submitted, what you're offering on businesses, details of all the financiers you're using. You should track all this stuff. So you've got it all in one place in a Google Sheet. So whether it's on your computer, your phone, your iPad, doesn't matter. You can just access this stuff all the time so you know where you are. All right, guys, so that's all the data. Amazing results. I hope you would agree. I'm a totally different person coming out of this. I thoroughly enjoyed it. So what's next for me? So 75 Hard is only step 1 of a 4-step process. There are 3 other levels beyond this. They're called phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. You can start phase 1 straight away. I'm not going to do that. I'm giving my body a bit of a rest. I'm probably going to do phase 1 in January. I want to get my 50th out the way. There's a whole bunch of other different things that I want to do, and I'm going to lock down on phase 1 of 75 Hard, the next phase in January. Probably do it January the 1st. But then there's a whole bunch of other different things I'm going to be doing as well. There's some awesome things I've learned through all the reading. I've read, as you know, nearly 3,500 pages of books. Picked up on some really, truly cool things. So there's a lot of other different habits I'm going to start introducing over the next few weeks. And guys, it's all about leveling up, being the best we can absolutely be in all areas of our lives. So thank you so much for all your support, all your help, all your encouragement, all your love through 75 Hard. As you know, it's not been easy. I've had some very, very challenging kind of weeks and periods, but I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I've come through it. I've smashed it, really. I'm super, super proud of myself, of what I've achieved, and I'm just so looking forward to the rest of my life with these new traits, these mental toughness traits that are now completely ingrained into me. So thank you so much for being a part of this journey, and I wish you guys really, really the best of luck. Take care, my friends. I will see you soon. Until then, bye for now.